Hello!
Hello indeed. We are back for another edition of MeanMachineTalks, and I have a rather special guest. But just before we get started, we've got a little bit of housekeeping to do. As per usual, if you're watching this live, thank you for joining. If you're watching this on demand, thank you again. And if you do want to watch it again, there are some pictures at the below of where you can listen to this podcast, so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify and Stitcher. And if you do want to tweet about the show whilst we're live, you can use the hashtag at the top of the screen, which is MeanMachineTalks. Now, my guest is a very special one. It is Stuart Ashen. It is the gentleman that side of the screen. So, hello Stuart, how are you?
Hello, Dean. I'm fine. How are you doing, sir?
I am very well, very well. So we are now broadcasting this live on Twitch. For most people, it will probably be the first instance they may have seen your face, because I guess normally they're looking at... Now, I do have to ask, actually, is that the brown sofa behind you?
That is not. That is a coincidental brown sofa.
Damn.
Yeah, you couldn't film on this one because it's got a weird gradient on it. But it was just in the office when we were looking around it. This massive, giant brown sofa with like a right angle in it. It was like, this is a sign from the gods. We must have this office.
I feel like that's a tease now. I'm a bit excited and disappointed at the same time. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So what I normally do with my guests is I normally pass the virtual mic across the screen to you, which I will do now. There we go. Thank you very much. And what I will now... There we go. Look at that. Magic, ladies and gentlemen. And what I normally do is get you to do a quick 1-minute introduction to yourself, what you do and who you are. So over to you, sir.
Certainly. I am Stuart Ashen, also known as Ashens. I am but a man with a man's courage. I review crap on YouTube for reasons I still don't fully understand, being it electronic, conceptual, or virtually inedible. There's a lot of eating expired food going on as well. I don't know where that came from, but it's too late to stop it now. I write and perform comedy for other things at times as well. We occasionally produce feature films, which is kind of the complete opposite of what I normally do, because it's usually like zero budget, cheap looking stuff, and then films, which are, again, never fully understood. Sometimes I do podcasts, and occasionally I buy sandwiches and get annoyed at how expensive.
Well, the sandwich one I can definitely relate to for sure. So if you haven't seen some of Stuart's work, he is a genius at his craft, is what I will say, and has managed to turn my attention to a sofa more times than I can imagine. So and I'm sure many people who are currently in chat, including my brother, who is currently here, who basically helped me find Mr. Stuart Ashen's channel.
Thank you, brother. Can I guess your brother's name? I want guesses.
Here we go. Go for it.
Greg.
No.
Matthew.
No.
Darren.
No. I mean, I'll give you 10 out of 10 for effort for trying, 3 out of 10 for execution, but it's all right. If you are looking at chat, it's Big Bro Mo. But anyway, that aside, doesn't matter. You were close.
Tragic. You I literally just gave you pretty much the names of Did You Know Gaming, just off the top of my head.
I like your thought process of that. It was quite clever. That was very good. Funny enough, we actually have one of your latest videos actually in the background running. So
what is that? Oh, the GPO flag case.
Indeed.
That was a thing of beauty.
It certainly was a thing of beauty. And if you haven't seen Stuart's channel, please pop along to go and see it. And every so often, some links will be put into chat, as they have just been now. So Stuart's Twitter and YouTube channel has actually just been pumped into chat. I don't know why I keep saying pumped. I taught myself to stop saying that, and I keep using the word pumped. Anyway, we will digress away from that. So yeah, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. I know you are an incredibly busy man, and we've had a lot of email tennis, which I thoroughly enjoyed. But
glad somebody did. It's a nightmare.
It is a nightmare, and you're an incredibly busy man. So again, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. I guess the first thing I wanted to kind of go through, and this is kind of what I do with most YouTubers, is I'd like kind of do like a historical look back. So I've got a bit of information in front of me. So it looks like you've been doing YouTube for about 13 years.
Correct.
According to this, you started on February the 23rd, 2006.
That, I believe, is correct, because I don't know off the top of my head.
Come on, research. Come on. I'm doing the thing. I do research about my guests. So I guess starting right at the beginning, what was kind of the catalyst of getting you to start your YouTube channel? What was the thing that made you do it?
So many moons ago, when the Earth was young and the gods played tennis or something, I don't know. It was before the days of YouTube. I was on a forum for an old video games journalist from the 90s, and somebody found this item called a pop station, which which I'm gesticulating with my hands, which means nothing at all. So I don't know why I did that. Which was basically a rip-off of Sony's PSP, which was a popular thing at the time, and just played some god-awful backlit LCD game. And it was slightly worse than dying of dropsy. You know, it was an absolutely horrible thing. It was about £5 on eBay. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to buy that. And I bought it and thought, now I regret buying it. What can I do? I know, I'll just improvise like a short video, 5 minutes just showing it off on my awful DV camcorder, which then had to pump via FireWire to the computer to digitize it. Who remembers that, eh? Wasn't those great days?
I do, as it was shit. But anyway.
God, it certainly was.
The youth don't know how good they've got it today. They don't know.
It's too right. Digital to digital. That is the answer. So I thought it would be watched only by like 15 people or something on the forum. Somebody forwarded it onto Beta, the online newsletter or manuals thing, which is sort of went away for a bit, but has come back 4 years ago. It was seen like by 70,000 people. Well, I say seen. They had to download the WMV file from like filestore.net or something, because it's all you had in those days. Then very shortly afterwards, I realized that I hadn't put who I was, what my website was, or anything on this video, because I didn't think anyone would really see it. And suddenly millions of American teenagers were pretending they'd made it. It's like, it's all over Newgrounds, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought I'm going to make a second video to prove I did the first. I actually introduced it to camera briefly at the start before we going into it, and still forgot to put my website on it. Hooray, quality. Then it was around that time that the streaming internet services for video sort of started becoming a thing. So I immediately uploaded everything to Google Video, because I always back the winner first. And that lasted like 8 seconds before Google bought it and it became YouTube. And moved everything over to YouTube, did a third video on another awful knockoff console, thinking that would be the end of it. And it very much wasn't. It got more views each time. So I just let it snowball on and kept doing it. And here we are 13 years later in a room that looks a bit like the pilot area of a TIE fighter.
Yeah, so if you do want to do the reenact a scene from any Star Wars parts, or if you want to rent a studio to reenact any of that, then Stuart has the perfect venue for you to do that. So you just got to invert the picture, and you're away. In fact, just before we started, he had a Darth Vader mask on, so there you go.
Always, it's for good luck.
Indeed, exactly. So the name Ashens, obviously from your surname. Here's a question for you: did you decide to try any other names before you went with that one?
Nope, it's always been Ashens. It was, I mean, obviously it's my surname with the first letter of my first name appended. So it was also my login on the computer of my first job, which is sort of where it originally came from, I suppose. Also, it could mean belonging to Ashen, which is good. Because the problem is you can't just use Ashen because it's a proper word. It's a shade of grey, so it's always just automatically taken by everything. I just went with that. So it still has this kind of ownership thing of having your actual real name attached to stuff, rather than the anonymity of, being rude to people from behind a mask. This is my stuff, and I have to stand by it. That was probably a mistake in hindsight, but hey, it's too late now.
and it's worked quite well, let's be honest. So I think you're doing a great job, sir. So carry on with the brilliant work that you do. Speaking of taking ones for the team, we were talking about your food interests earlier. How on earth did you blend food into your channel?
I used to have a PO box, and somebody sent in some expired jelly babies once, just for a laugh. Ooh. And they were like really expired. They'd all turned the same shade of dark grey, which is fascinating in itself.
They're turned into an Ashen. There you go.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. And they were sort of gone rock hard and weren't very nice. And I thought this was quite interesting, so I just did a video showing those. I didn't try them, obviously, because you don't want to die. But yeah, that kind of became a thing, and people started sending in more expired food, and it got quite interesting as to see what happened to stuff. And then I started trying bits of it, and that's something that's still going on to this day. On occasion, people always say, "Oh, you should do more of the expired food." I'm like, "Well, find me some," because the problem with expired food is you can't go out and buy it in the shops.
Yeah.
Unless you go to Asda, then it's 50-50.
Brilliant. I mean, I was just thinking about some of the food products you've had before. I'm trying to remember one of them. Was it some World War World War II rationing tin. Am I right there, or some sort of?
Oh, I think it was a Vietnam
Right,
tin.
there
Yeah.
we go. So how the hell did that come to you? Because obviously sending food products through the post, I mean,
Yeah.
like...
Literally, somebody just sent it via... Yeah, through the PO box. It just turned up one day. I had various rations, actually. I kept them, unfortunately, in the garage, and mice got them.
Oh.
So I don't have much in the way of rations left now, which is a shame. But
they're probably not alive anymore. But
yes, they've probably died of old age by now, anyway. Actually,
so they're probably sitting there cursing you. That bloody Ashens and his bloody rationing tins he left in his shed.
Destroyed us all.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Right, so you're probably going to preempt what the next question is. What's the worst one you've had so far, by far?
I'm trying to think. It was something quite recent, actually. It was the Cresta drink.
Ooh.
Cresta being a British soft drink from the 70s, made with milk. And it wasn't fizzy. It was foamy, not fizzy, I think was the catchphrase of it. Which is a bizarre concept itself. I'd never tried it, I could remember. It was sort of pretty much disappeared by the time I was sort of old enough to drink such things, I think. But somebody, sent in a bottle of it, a pineapple-flavoured one from the 70s. And I tried a tiny bit, and it was bad. It tasted like terps. Then somebody who used to work in the factory got in touch and said, yeah, that will have chemically broken down to something similar to turpentine by now. So I'm like, I got the flavour at least.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. I didn't swallow any of that and rinsed my mouth out very quickly afterwards.
And probably didn't strike a match either, because you probably would have had a nice fire flame come out of your mouth. But
yeah, I don't know the how flammable it was. I should have tested it, actually. That's a thought.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. That's why we do these podcasts. It is a collaboration of the minds, you see. So I'm taking copyright of that. But anyway, but I'm not. You do what you want.
Unfortunately, went down the sink months ago, unfortunately.
Damn.
It's too late.
If anyone does have another bottle, please feel free to send it to Stuart's video box.
The strawberry flavour this time, please, gentlemen.
Do you know what? It fascinates me that people have this stuff just kicking around their sheds and homes and stuff. Like, why would you leave it all those years and just be like, yeah, do you know what? Stuart Ashen would appreciate this. Yeah, I'm going to put it in the post.
Usually it's found in the back of Granny's cupboard when they clean. That's a very common thing. I was sent a box of Irish stock from a shop that had closed down in like the 80s, and they found it like hidden behind a bench or something. So that was exciting. But usually it is back of Granny's cupboard.
It does baffle the mind how this stuff just exists for decades, doesn't it? I mean, the worst thing I found is probably paperwork dating back to like the early noughties. Like I wouldn't have a crate of random old British drinks sitting in the back of my my cupboards.
Now you tell me.
Yes. Sorry, Stuart, to break that news to you, but it's all right. We won't judge you. We won't judge you at all. It's perfectly fine. You give us entertainment after all, so we cannot judge. So going on to other videos, what's your favourite video that you ever enjoyed making on your channel?
Ooh. That's a good question. It's usually when we do something different. We did a series called The Proxy years ago, which was basically, technically an advertisement for Dell computers, but it was like an 8-part science fiction series we made, which is how I met all the people who enabled us to make films and things later on. But that was good fun, and it was just so different to anything that had come before, and really anyone had done before, I think, at that stage. We won some sort of marketing award for it, if I remember. Weirdly, the rights for it are now technically owned by Disney, so I think that makes me a Disney prince or something. I don't know.
Yikes. That's an interesting...
Yeah, but they do own most things, to be fair.
Yeah, they're probably going to own you, me, and this bloody podcast by the end of the month. But
probably by the end of the podcast, we'll just get like an email through, and
damn it! I'll end up dressing up as a character from bloody Frozen. Ugh. And before anyone gets any ideas in chat, I'm not doing that for charity, so get it right out of your head now. I'll pop it
Elsa or Anna, vote now. Vote.
No, don't do that, Stuart. You're just teasing them now. They'll end up bloody spamming me on Twitter and stuff. This is not good. I do actually have to wear a tutu for the next Game Blast in February. Apparently, when I'm playing Beat Saber, that was something.
You could work it into a Toxic Avenger. That's the tutu get out ones.
Oh, that's a very good shout. See, this is why we've got you on the podcast. See, I like Stuart. He's this is good. So I'm just having a quick look in chat, and it's gone the way I thought it was. Anyway, I'm going to ignore all those comments for a moment. So here's the other part. So obviously, one, you know, the stuff that I enjoy the most is the tat from Poundland. It's everybody's favourite. Everybody loves the bit of tat, and everybody's gone through the aisles in Poundland and gone, why does this even exist? I mean, I think I don't know if the troll that is on your video, on your what do they call it, the preview bit when you first see someone's profile. I don't know.
Oh, the internet troll. No, no, that's a knockoff. It's either a knockoff He-Man figure or a knockoff wrestling figure, depending which bit of cardboard was stuck to it when you bought it. But no, that's not a Poundland. That predates Poundland considerably, I think.
God, I'm not surprised it isn't actually in Poundland, that they haven't just actually rejigged it and just gone, hey, do you want a weird-looking freaking He-Man wrestler thing with a head on it? Here you go.
Oh, they had some stuff. They used to sell there was a I can't remember the name of the ones with S for. They made knockoff figures with a similar sort of vein to the He-Mans, but of like Freddy Krueger and Leatherface and Jason Voorhees and all your classic sort of 80s horror types. And they were just in Poundland, you know, where these things were knocked out. They're worth a bloody fortune now.
Really? Wow.
They go for 40 or 50 quid a pop. Why didn't I fill my house with them? You know. Hell, they had Dreamcast joysticks in there, which still blows my mind.
Wow.
One of the best sort of home fighting sticks ever made.
Agreed.
Yeah, just in there for a quid.
In fact, I just had one sent over from Japan a few weeks ago, a boxed one.
My goodness.
Which unfortunately is just at a shot. It's just up there, actually. So, yeah, I agree. That arcade stick is quite impressive. So,
yeah, that was their finest hour. The weirdest thing I ever saw in there, beat-up copy of Lethal Enforcers for the Mega Drive gun. And to this day, I don't know why I didn't try and buy it, because it clearly wasn't their stock and somebody just like left it on a shelf or something, I would assume. I got this image of them putting it through the till and like, it's not going through.
Yeah. Well, it's £1, isn't it? So give us it.
That was the thing. Yeah, it wasn't difficult to work out. Yeah.
What you should have done is just put it on the counter, threw £1 and went, yep, bye, and walk off out the shop.
I'm going now. Bye.
Yes, goodbye. I've given you the money that you require for this item. I am now going to depart from this store. Goodbye. So how did the Poundland fascination come about? I don't know if fascination is the right word. Interest is probably a better word of looking at the tat from Poundland. How did that start?
I genuinely can't remember. I don't know if I was just walking around Poundland and thought, my goodness, it'd be fun for. Oh, I should buy a few bits like that. That's probably how it happened, actually. Yeah, it's been going so long now, I can't remember the genesis of it. But I'm going to go along with that. Yeah, I was probably just seeing things out of the corner of my eye and thinking, oh, look, what on earth is this? Knockoff Tekken figures, etc., etc. Well, actually, those predate my channel. But yeah, it was just one of those things of an opportunity arose, I think.
It's funny you mentioned a knockoff Tekken thing, because last night I actually streamed this monstrosity of shit, and this was given to me by Trista Bites, and this is well, I don't know how you would even describe this. For anyone who actually was in my stream yesterday, I thoroughly apologise for the audio terrorism I had to put you through yesterday, and visual terrorism. It was awful. It's called Tekken 3 Special. I think it should just be called Special. And essentially, they took Virtua Fighter and redid the sprites and added a load of other random shit in to make probably one of the worst games I've ever played. It's definitely my top 3 worst beat-em-ups I've ever played. So,
good God, have you played Dangerous Streets?
Yes, I've also played Tongue of the Fat Man, which if you've not played is.
I know Tongue of the Fat Man, aka Fight Palace.
Yeah, it's
or Slaughter Sport.
Yeah.
Is that the third name for it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So bad they named it 3 times. So people It's like, oh, I've got this game. Oh, hang on, I've got this game as well. I've got this. Well, hang on, they're all the same shit. We've just renamed it 3 times so to keep people guessing. So,
one of the covers for it is just like somebody's nose and mouth, where they have put like a black cloth over the rest of the face and put beads up their nose with pictures of eyeballs on. And that's their attempt to make a monster.
I need to find that. Joe, I don't actually own a copy of it, and I feel like I should, because I do own a lot of really crap DVDs and games just for the laugh. So I feel like I should actually go out, and I feel like it's one of those ones where if I don't buy it now, it's going to become such a memeable thing that people are actually going to start putting the price up on it. So
I can believe it.
I need to obviously go out and buy that. So if anyone does have a copy that they're looking to sell, if you do have a copy, why do you have one? But yeah, if you do have a copy,
destroy it. Save us all.
Yes, burn it, burn the witch. So going back to some of the Poundland tat, what is your favourite thing you've had from there?
Oh man, so much stuff over the years. some of it's, I mean, occasionally I'll go and just buy useful things, so they're a favourite in a bad way. But oh, if I had to pick one bloody Poundland item, I would have to go through the storage system in the garage.
Ooh.
That's everything chucked into plastic crates. And have a think on that. Oh, I would have to do research on that. There's just too much stuff.
I'm going to ask him to tweet it at me. There we go. There you go.
Yeah, that would cool. What would perhaps some of the Christmas things which have just been so grotesque, like a Father Christmas lamp that seems to be made entirely out of dried scabs. Some of the Halloween stuff is... I've got all the Halloween stuff for this year behind me, or most of it.
Oh, fantastic.
It was a good year this year for Poundland
yes.
Tatano. All new stock, all bizarre, mostly terrible.
I would love to be the researcher who has to go out and go, do you know what? Oh, here we go. Behind the scenes.
That's quite nice. I actually quite like this one.
Yeah, that's actually not bad. Oh god, oh dear. Yeah.
No, we'll leave that.
Yeah.
Leave that.
So it looks better than it sounds. That's good.
Yeah.
A bit like the second game I played.
This can be my new hilarious sidekick. His name is apparently Hanging Ghoul. Hello. Hi. I'm bored of that already. Yeah. Right.
Good. Well, I think we have a new video to look forward to, so I'm quite happy to see that now.
Oh yes, every Halloween without fail.
I'm thoroughly impressed now. I'm a little bit excited now. So anyway, I digress. I'm now thinking of other things. I think one of my favourite things that you picked up, and I can't remember if it was from Poundland, was a duck that laid eggs or something, and it
the goose.
The goose, that was it. Yeah,
and not the jolly one from the Untitled game, just a horrible plastic monstrosity. That was something that just appeared from the PO box one day, but it shrieks horrifying songs at you, has a flap in its arse which opens and rolls an egg out, and then nearly takes your fingers off of your hands and everywhere. I should have entered it in Robot Wars. That's a video I've always wanted to do. My cousin owned Thermidor 2 robot from Robot Wars. And I wonder if we could have like the Goose versus Thermidor.
Oh, now that is a brilliant shout. Yes. There we go.
I'd be up for that. I might get in touch with them on that one actually.
Anyway, that is a fantastic idea. And have obviously the Goose win, because that would be brilliant to beat an actual robot that fights. But anyway, we digress onto different things. So you know, going back to some of your other content, I mean, you kind of went through obviously picking up electronics and stuff like that, and you've obviously, you know, you're a comedy genius. I think most people would probably agree to it, and your comedy comes through. See, look at the eyebrows, comedy eyebrows. See, that's a good sign.
No, I can't do it.
No, that's all right. You tried at least. So, how did the movies come about?
Theft. We just stole them and put our names on them. It saves so much time.
You got them from Poundland,
I just made myself. Yes, you know, most of them are just Steven Seagal films. We changed the title. God, I wish that was true. It'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it? So the Genesis, the first film, really was at a party for the production company who had made the proxy thing I mentioned earlier, and obviously the director and writer of it was there. We were just chatting away, and I said, "Oh, do you know what? We know all these people who do films. We should make a film." And he said, "God, I haven't made a film for a while." Because his background is making feature films. It's like, "Yeah, that'd be great." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to be like a road movie." He said, "I've actually got a title for it: Ashens and the Quest for the Game Child," because I know there's this rare or vaguely rare. Actually rare at all, knockoff Game Boy thing, and this sort of amusing idea of somebody who's obsessed with it and wants to get it for whatever reason. He's like, "Oh yeah, how on earth could we get this funded?" We couldn't. That's true, but we ended up managing to get some money from Google, not directly. It was through the production company, I hasten to add, and the other half we kind of crowdfunded, and then spent about a year hacking this film together, and we recently did it again. Took us 6 years this time, but it's nearly there. Ashens and the Polybius heist. It's we've just had it color graded. It's just the sound mix and the music to go, and it is complete. We can then unleash it on an unsuspecting planet.
Now the big question is do we know a rough release date, Stuart?
Yeah, probably March, I think.
Oh, there we go.
It's looking like March. I think we're going to have the cell nearly entirely ready a bit before that, so we're hedging bets a bit. And March seems like the most sensible release date. So I don't know if it'll be early or late March, or even if March is right at all. That's our current thinking.
So I guess just after the Sonic film release, which will probably bomb. But anyway, you heard that first.
Well, it depends how they've redesigned it.
Well, let's see. I did see a random picture that passed past my eyes that looked like a slightly it looked much improved than what they showed before. But yeah, let's hope to God that it looks better than the monstrosity that they put out before. In fact,
they should give it massive pendulum testicles. No reason whatsoever.
With just "must go faster" written across them.
One of them looks like Knuckles.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. In fact, I did a really people found it funny. I did a really basic meme video of just taking the piss out of it. Basically, I had Mad World playing over the top of it, and it was all black and white and slowed down. But yeah, funny enough, it was actually my most viewed video on YouTube since I've done it. So, so yeah, it just shows that.
It's a nerve, clearly.
Yeah, exactly, and people seem to thoroughly enjoy it, which was a bit weird. Yeah, so I mean, I guess with the films, was there something that you've kind of learnt from the first film that you've made that you've kind of brought over to the second in terms of speed and maybe the creativity?
Oh man, you're always learning on this kind of thing. Absolutely, the most important things we learned was never it, because everything has to fit everything else. I've actually got like a flow chart of how the scenes go and how the heist proceeds procedurally. We had to sort of make sure it all makes sense. There's nothing worse than a logic problem in something like that. But every heist film has one. Even rewatching Ocean's 11, there's quite a big sort of logic hole in it. Oh, I wish I hadn't noticed that. But the film's still great, so right. Yeah, there's a lot of little things you pick up, and both from a technical point of view, the production point of view. I mean, Riyadh's very experienced, so a lot of it we already knew going in, but some of the stuff we were doing, nobody had really done before, I suppose, in the way it was funded and the way certain parts of it were done. So, yeah, we are slowly learning all our tricks. We shall put them in a book and charge people a fortune to read it and claim we're consultants at some point in the future.
There we go. He's thought of his future already. I like this. This is brilliant forward thinking by yourself. Unless
nobody watches the sequel, then we'll just die in a ditch because that's the way things go.
Well, let's hope that isn't the way, and hope this isn't the last visual sighting of Stuart Ashen before you depart. But let's hope not. So one thing I wanted to touch on was young Stuart Ashens. Not that you're not young, obviously, but a younger Stuart Ashens.
No, I'm not. 42, man. It's crept up on us.
That's perfectly young. You're being silly. Yes, it is. It is. Don't worry. I mean, you're going to live to 100, so it's fine. We're going to have Ashens going into, I don't know, probably £5 by the time the
inflation, £25 land.
With sort of really maniacal hands going, oh, we've got this crap from £5 land, and it probably is a I don't know what's it's probably a PS4 or something, or a knockoff PS4. So when you were younger, did you have an active interest in sort of video editing and producing, or was this just something that you kind of learnt naturally?
No, that wasn't something that you could sensibly do when I was at school. God, you need specialist equipment, both from the recording and editing. Well, you could get like a camcorder that would record straight to VHS. We did have one. It didn't last long because it was a Ferguson Video Star, and it was half broken when we got it because it was cheap. So yeah, we did film little funny sketches and bits occasionally with a friend who went on to be a professional video editor for television, actually. So he but the actual editing of it was literally like recording VHS, and that was virtually impossible. So the interest has always been there, but it wasn't until you could buy like cheap small camcorders that can actually record in something that you can get onto a computer, and by the time it's on a computer you can edit it much easier. That was the big revolution, the great equalizer. Indeed. The moment of Trent, which is a meaningless phrase I've now decided describe that as going forward.
There we go. So if anyone wants to try that, Stuart will copyright strike you for it. So,
hashtag Trent.
Yes. There we go. We need to get that trending now. It's funny you say that because I mean I studied video editing at university, and even then we had DV cams, so it was an absolute arse to try and get firewire cables and docking the camera in and trying to get things, and it was easier. But with the millennials of today, the fact that we can pick up a mobile phone and shoot 4K out of the box and upload it straight to YouTube.
I know, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's crazy.
I was at the hang on, I've just got 15 names in my head. I need to get the right one. the arcade club. We got there, the arcade club in Bury a few weeks ago, which is an amazing place. If you haven't been there, go. Millions of old arcade machines, fantastic. Well, literally millions, but there's a lot. And I got a message from Riyadh, a film director, saying, "Oh, I've just realised we need like some stock footage of old like 80s video arcade machines. Is there any way you can do that?" And I'm like, I am literally right now in the biggest arcade outside of America and Japan, as far as anyone knows. Like,
Brilliant.
I can't believe you've sent me this now, and I haven't a camera with me. Then it occurs to me, we need it in 4K anyway, and the only thing I own that shoots 4K is a phone.
There we go. Perfect example.
There we are.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, my camcorder does 4K. I just never turn it on. Oh, it would have been better to have brought the camcorder. Well, it was too late.
It was an opportunity thing, and I think that's the other thing, is I think it's unlocked people's creativity to just be able to shoot things straight away. Because I mean, like, you know, back in our day, to try and I say that like an old person, but you know, using the tech that was available at our time, you're obviously limited by internet speeds and obviously editing and things like that. I mean, I know of some YouTubers, and I've done it before, of actually shooting videos and actually editing on the phone and then uploading to YouTube. And the thought of potentially doing that 20 years ago is just absurd. But the power that we have at our hands now is tremendous.
It only seems 5 minutes ago, a bloke in PC World Nokia phone he'd got that had a camera built in. I mean, you could store like 3 photos like they'd been drawn by a 5-year-old with crayons, and the 5-year-old had just had his hands run over. But you know, it was amazing. Oh my God, you've taken it. It's like a digital camera inside your massive house brick you claim as a phone. It's amazing.
Do you know what? It's funny you say that, because I'm trying to remember. I had a Sony Ericsson phone. It was quite small, and then I remember there was a camera bolt on for it, and I got really excited because like it had like a little viewfinder on it. And I thought, okay, you know, Sony are known for making quite decent cameras. I thought this is going to be brilliant. And I remember getting the bolt on and taking a picture, and I just thought this was not worth the aggro, because as you just said, it just looked like Crayola drawing, and I was like, somewhere in these pixels is a picture, but I can't see it for shit. And I spent ages like cleaning the viewfinder, going, there must be something here. There is something in here. Give me the picture. But no, it was just shit, unfortunately. But
I can remember having quite an early digital camera, an AG for ePhoto something. I can't remember. I had a number afterwards, but it was like a massive brick of a thing. It didn't have any sort of memory cards or any technology like that, and I think it could take high resolution photos back when high resolution was 640 by 480. And I mean, it did a good job of getting colors and detail generally, but they were all quite lossy JPEGs as well. So anything I've taken on that is basically useless. It's just not up to the task. But and it cost a fortune. I think it's like £200 or something. God. Oh, the hours of fun I didn't have with that because the photos weren't good.
Indeed, but I mean, that's another thing. I mean, like digital media in itself, like physical media. I mean, you know, I remember having an old camera that took a compact flash card. I think. And I think it was like a 256 megabyte card. And you think
madness.
And you think like, I have the power, and then someone would come along and be like, I have a 1 gig one. It was like, how dare you? You have the power.
Gigabyte? That's insane. God, I had can we get the name but right? A Diamond Rio PMP 300, which is one of the first, possibly the first, home MP3 player thing, which I got secondhand from like cash converters. It was like the size of a packet of cigarettes. Had like 32 megabytes of memory.
Ooh.
And you could stick in a compact flash card to expand it. Another 32 megabytes, which didn't work because compact flash wasn't a properly ratified standard, and half the cards didn't work in things. So it was a complete lottery whether the card you'd bought would actually work in it. Oh,
I'm going to go out and buy 6 of these. Yes, no. Shit,
right. Exactly.
Good. What am I going to do with these? Bin. Tremendous.
Yeah, and each one of them costs slightly more than a ruby-encrusted yacht.
Yes, indeed. But
man,
but you know, the fact that, you know, even mobile phones now have such a huge amount of storage, I mean, it has completely changed the game. And I think I did see a picture once that had like a graph of the amount of uploads to YouTube in the last 10 years or something. And it was fascinating, the correlation between the mobile phones and their storage, and obviously the megapixels, and then obviously the amount of uploads. And it just absolutely spikes all the way. With each iteration of phone and every iteration of kind of storage and the cameras going up. So it just seems that more people are more interested in content creating, which comes onto a very, I guess, kind of interesting question towards yourself. So you being at the pantheon of content creation and working in a multitude of different areas, if someone's looking to start YouTube and kind of has an interest, what would be your kind of, I don't know, top 3 maybe tips or advices to those people?
Before we get going on this, I've got to ask chat, what was the type of card in the Diamond Rio PMP 300?
I'm gonna keep a lookout in chat and see.
And it wasn't compact flash; it was the totally flat ones with all the contacts on the top. Something like Smart Media. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I think you might be right there. My brother.
Yeah. Oh, I have remembered it then.
I will. I think you're right there. I'm just going to wait for. I'm expecting my brother, funny enough, to actually know this because I think we had a digital camera that actually took that. I think it was Smart Media.
Ah, Big Bro Mo, tell us, my friend. Tell us.
I will wait in anticipation. He's probably. He said I had one. That's a good sign. Give us the information, brother. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Come on. You're doing this for the family now. Come on. Yeah, it was on the Fuji camp. Yes, we know that. Come on, we can get to the memory card. Come on.
Fuji, yeah, they definitely took that. That was all around when I was working at PC World. There was a lot of those. I think it was Smart Media, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right. Actually, I'm going to reach low and oh no, I'm going to do it on that because
I could have just looked it up on my phone.
Yes, correct. He has confirmed it is indeed Smart Media. So 10 points. To
yes, victory has happened.
Well done, Stuart Ashen. 10 points to you, sir. You've done.
Congratulations, Big Bro Mo. Thank you for helping us out with that.
Yes. There we go, and all the answers are now flooding in of Smart Media. Congratulations, everyone. You are all very good at Google. Anyway, yes, back to things. So I mean, I guess the reason why I kind of asked that was, I'd kind of been I wouldn't say I've been doing YouTube for a long time, but I've been in content creation for a bit, as I said, when I was at university making videos and stuff like that. But I hadn't really taken the dive into YouTube properly until probably a year ago, actually. Not that I upload that often, but I guess for someone like myself, and then obviously anyone else who's in chat or interested in making a YouTube channel or has an interest, what would kind of be your foundation steps or things that you think people should do going into it?
Well, the first thing you need to do is buy an expensive camera. No, I'm lying. It doesn't matter. Your phone's plenty good enough in this day.
Agreed.
You've got to work out what it is you're interested in. Don't try and just copy something else that seems popular, because that's not probably going to work. It needs to be something you are vaguely passionate about. Yes, I know media people throw the word passionate around like it means something, and often it doesn't, but you do genuinely need something you at least have a fairly strong interest in. You haven't got to be the world's greatest expert on it, but having the sort of personal interest in it will get you through. You need to be able to engage an audience, which is something you might have to practice at. And you might just have to do that by starting off doing videos that aren't very good and see how it comes along with practice over time. Because the third point, and the most important one, is you can't give up. You just got to stick at it and keep going and going and going. And it's not a case of, oh, I've been doing it 2 months and I haven't got 1 million subscribers yet. Tough tits. You've really got to keep at it if you want to build anything. And don't expect to ever have a massive audience in this day and age, because of the way YouTube works. It's really hard to get a channel going from scratch these days. But you don't need a massive amount of people. Remember, you've just got to find that core people who are interested in what you're doing. And if you're doing something that other people aren't, either by presentation or by content, that is where you will find people who are interested. Because if you're just doing something that's the same as somebody else already does who's popular and they're good at it, you're going to need a really, really new twist on that. And that's it, really. And don't use puppets, because they're a pain.
Except for the one that you just tossed over your shoulder. But
that was the worst. That's living on the floor now. It's not even going to be in the video.
I think you touched on a very good point there, because I think, and I guess a lot of social media companies now have touched on this recently, where people are constantly being driven by the numbers, right? So I know of some people who got completely sucked into the whole, I've uploaded a video, it hasn't done as well as the last one, and this, that, and the other. And it was like, well, there's two ways of looking at that. If your previous videos have done well and this one hasn't, maybe there's something in the latest video that hasn't quite connected with your audience, or maybe it was just the wrong time you've uploaded it, or something like that. So it's,
or maybe YouTube's machine learning algorithm working differently in those 5 minutes. You just don't bloody know these days. I mean, you can get, if everything you do doesn't do very well, there's no audience for it, obviously. If something dips massively and you can't work out something to do with the content, then maybe the audience didn't like it. It's so hard to know these days, because so much of it is dependent on YouTube's, what do they call it, search and promote algorithm system, that you cannot get your head around it, because it's a machine learning thing that constantly changes, and YouTube themselves don't ultimately know all the ins and outs of it.
Yes,
it's like Skynet, only with less robot teeth.
Indeed. And John Connor is not trying to shut it down, that we know of anyway.
Where's my giant Terminator?
Yes. Oh, there it is. Oh,
he's got a bobbly hat on.
If he starts moving, I'm running. Yeah, I mean, I guess the reason why I asked that is, obviously it's quite nice to talk to someone of, I guess, your stature. You're quite well known in the YouTube world, and the content you make is consistently brilliant. I think we can all agree that throughout the years, I think your work has actually improved massively, and obviously with things like your films and all the other different areas that you've gone into with Ashens, which I'll touch into in a moment. It's nice to have that feedback directly from yourself, because there have been cases where I've seen similar videos on YouTube, funny enough, where people talk to some larger YouTubers, and they kind of have this attitude of, oh, well, I've got this big production company, I don't really care about the people beneath me. And I think that's a really horrible thing to have, that there's always,
I mean, obviously I'm exactly the same, I'm just hiding it. There isn't even a sofa, it's all just computer generated in front of a green screen.
There's a very small people just holding Stuart up like,
Master, may we have a drink? Silence.
The minions from the Poundland just holding him up like, oh Christ, come on, ain't he finished yet?
What?
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's nice to hear that from yourself, because I think the right attitude is to carry on. I mean, I myself, about probably 5 months ago, actually nearly jacked all this in. I kind of had a think with myself, and I said, this is just not worth it anymore. And funny enough, after talking to people, they were like, why not? You're enjoying it, people seem to be enjoying your content, why would you give it up? And I said, well, actually, since you've said that, you've got a valid point. So and it's something I enjoy, and I think that's probably the other thing with content creation, is if it's something you actually enjoy, it doesn't become a chore to do. And I think that's an important part to kind of remember. And obviously, you thoroughly enjoy eating horrible food and looking at tats from Poundland. So
more of the second than the first, generally.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, because I've seen some of the stuff you've eaten, and it is not pleasant. I'll be honest. No.
It's one of those things, you've got to do something. If you are bored of it, then that will come through to the audience, and you'll burn yourself out, which is why I can do different things every so often. And although sometimes it's a subtle change, it's things that keep me interested. And it's always stuff I'm interested in or I want to do, which is also a great way to not make any money on YouTube, sadly, because you do have to sort of do certain things to chase certain points to hit and stuff like that if you want to make the sort of proper money, and I never do. I've been doing a lot of retro stuff recently, every single video of which tanks the channel for a short period, because retro stuff for some reason isn't working on the channel at the moment. But tough, I enjoy it and I'm interested in it, so I'm going to keep doing it. So
there we go.
And then starve to death and regret every decision I've made up to that point. But until then, well, it's all good.
Well, instead of starving to death, you can always go to your holding shelter, where you've got probably a 400-year-old I don't know, piece of meat that's probably sitting there rotting away, and people would like to see you eat it. So
I'm trying to think what I've got in storage at the moment. I've got some ancient breadies. I found those the other day. There's like a massive tin of chicken chasseur or something, some sort of odd chicken meal, and it was bought by a couple around about the time they were married in the 60s, so I'm looking forward to opening that one day. I've got some cinnamon that went out of date in the 80s for a sort of poisonous cinnamon challenge. I found something really interesting that somebody gave me a book signing once. What was it? Was a can of Pepsi Max that they found on a beach. And it's all just like, I mean, it's still got the Pepsi Max, obviously genuinely been pushed up somewhere. It's all sort of weirdly mottled, and it's got entirely Arabic writing on it. So I don't know where it came from originally.
Oh, actually, if you've got that can, I could probably get my mum to read that back to you, because she's Egyptian. So, so there we go.
We could, if we could just determine where it's from.
There we go.
Pepsi Max.
There we go.
But,
I'll tell you what, if it's from Egypt, I will be laughing my head off hysterically for a long time. Something to work on. There we go. So yes, DM me that on Twitter. I'll be fascinated to have a look at that, actually.
Oh, I shall find that up, yeah.
There we go. So coming on to one of my favourite shows, which unfortunately seems to have now ceased to exist, which is Ashens. I thoroughly enjoyed yourself and Barry reading some of the most hysterical stories I have ever heard in my life. I wish I could have...
the mighty sharticles.
Indeed. Yeah. I think we should probably try and get that into the Oxford Dictionary somehow. We need to try this. We need to get a sharticle.
I don't know, did we make that up, or did we take it from somewhere? I think Barry may have made it up. See?
There we go. See? Well, I think what recently got added to the Oxford Dictionary... it was a new word that got added, and I'm trying to remember what it was now. It was a slang word, and it was like, and apparently they've done 3 iterations of it in the Oxford Dictionary. I'm like, A, why is it even in there? And B, why have you actually gone to the effort of putting 3 different iterations in? I can't remember what it bloody was now.
How strange.
Yeah, I'll have to try and remember. It was something absolutely ridiculous. So, going back to Ashens, how did you and Barry first meet?
It was at Comic Relief, or a meeting for Comic Relief. Comic Relief were holding this sort of meeting. They invited quite a few YouTubers along and said, is there anything you can do to raise some money for Comic Relief? And we're like, I'm sure there's a thing we can do. And me and Barry kind of got talking because we were the only people there over the age of 3 months, I think. We felt very old. And yeah, we just sort of said, oh, this is a laugh. We should probably do like a lab or something. I ended up traveling up to his place in Western Supermare, and he cooked me I'll always remember this, the only food Barry has ever cooked for me is a oven pizza, and he managed to drop it face down on the floor beforehand.
What a lad. What an absolute lad.
Still ate it. He didn't have dogs in those days. Yeah, and it just kind of worked. I've had some hideously outdated sausages in a tin, which literally just turn to dust when you cook them, and he was genuinely scared he'd die trying them, as was I, frankly. Yeah, and we did sort of collabs every so often, and then we said, shall we start doing our own channel? And at the time, YouTube were quite behind it, and were like, oh, come here and use the YouTube base. Oh, yeah, and like, if you want like a set for it, we'll keep your set at the YouTube space. I'm like, whoa.
Wow.
Because I've never had anything from YouTube at all. Barry, being food, is a little bit more in the wavelength, so it had bits. We were both like, oh my God, this is amazing. Although we didn't take advantage of the set. We were just like, we've got one fold-up backdrop, and that is, we're not going to push it. If you can just keep that for us, that'd be great. Yes, we did that for quite some time. We brought on, Paul Gannon, the producer, was there from the start. He brought on Eli Silverman, who was going to do the voice of the sock thing, but then we discovered that Eli's just great on his own, so we just kept using him. We had Chris on sound, Izzy on camera, Ryan, aka Cousin Dan, helping out with production. Yeah, and it was all good fun, but it wasn't long before YouTube's tone changed entirely, as often it does, and it had gone from, oh, if you want to have like a big set, we'll keep it for you, to, you've got 5 days to take your fucking backdrop and we'll shove it in the fucking bin. Sorry for existing, sir. You know, this has changed somewhat, hasn't it? All of a sudden. So yeah, the backdrop is still in my garage to this day. And yeah, then it became almost impossible to YouTube space. Now it is actually impossible to book the YouTube space. It's just rented out to. Is now run by a third-party company and just rented out to like movies and stuff. Wow. So that's why one of the main reasons now. You have to rent proper places to get it made, and it wasn't really making enough money to keep itself going. So yeah, that's the end of that. But I think about 3 years. There's a new video going up tomorrow, and that may be the last one. Ooh. There might be one more, but it's a clip show, so don't expect anything exciting. But it's a very well done show from the poor video editor who spent over 900 years watching all the videos and pulling bits together.
Well, I feel incredibly sorry for them, because me just editing one video is stressful enough. Them going through that entire amount of content must have pulled a few extra grey hairs out of them. So
these hardcore professional editors, almost inhuman in their skills and their infinite patience.
I love video editing. I want to cut. I want to splice. Yes. I want it all.
All the things. The guy who used to edit Ashens also edits all our feature films and stuff. Linton, he's incredibly talented, creatively and sort of editing wise, but my God, he can go through some footage quick and find all the bits. And yeah, it's a real skill, but it's something you've really got to enjoy all the time. I can do it occasionally, and I ain't that good at it. But just sitting there all day, just multiple angles. Nope, not happening. It would be.
No, I struggle just to put one video together. I guess that's probably why I Twitch stream more than I do with YouTube.
It's nice that, isn't it?
It works, yay! So for the
One
most
long
part,
take.
anyway.
Here we go.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Except I don't have the pleasure of being able to cut things up. So I just not people, obviously. I mean videos. But yeah. In case anyone gets a bit.
Well, it is Halloween.
Yes, it is true. Yes, it is true. I'd have to try and get something spooky going on with just a big axe that comes down. Not that it's going to hit me, but anyway, we digress. So I mean, it is a real shame to see Barshans go. I genuinely used to love watching it, and I think what made it brilliant was obviously the guests that you had on towards some of the latter kind of parts. We had the Gaming Muso, who I believe is currently in chat on. I thoroughly enjoyed his one.
Oh yes, there he is.
He is kicking,
hello, James.
He is kicking around in there. He's probably playing guitar or something silly. Obviously, Quang's one was quite an interesting one as well.
Yes, he's a good man as Mr. Quang.
Which also gave me one of the biggest laughs that I've had with one of the most ridiculous sharticles, which I think was about chickens, if I remember correctly.
A lot of them are. There's quite a big chicken sharticle crossover. That Venn diagram has a large segment.
I would love to see you draw that. Genuinely.
Hang on, I'll do it now. Ready?
Here we go. We're getting Stuart drawing a Venn diagram of chickens with sharticles. So for those watching this on audio, I will try to describe what Stuart is going to hold up to the screen.
There we are.
Two circles.
That one's chickens, that one's sharticles, and that's chicken sharticles. It's also how they invented Counter-Strike.
Yes.
So, swings and roundabouts.
I won't ask how they did Global Offensive because that Venn diagram would be too intense. No, that's good. So I've noticed you do a bit of Twitch streaming yourself. You do your interactive questionnaires and stuff. Is that something you do once a month? Is it every other week, or is it basically
every week?
Oh, is it every week?
Yep.
Oh, blimey.
Every week, every Wednesday. Yep.
There we go.
Except sometimes it's not on a Wednesday due to reasons, but we try and do it. Yeah, every Wednesday, 8 o'clock UK time. We'll have an interactive quiz on usually video game related stuff, and then play weird games, crap games, quite often Space Crusade on the Amiga, which I'm trying to play through, and we've nearly got there now. I've only been playing it a year and a half.
Yeah, well, if you want a really good game you can want to play, I can probably suggest you to play this. This is a really good beat 'em up.
I have actually played it. Yeah, I'm good. 10 points for Bex for finding a physical copy. That must be an AliExpress job or something.
Apparently it was in a shop in Japan, which makes me incredibly depressed that it actually came from Japan. Because essentially what happened was she went to Japan and brought some stuff back, and obviously a couple of gifts for my birthday, thus that being one of them. And then another friend of mine sent me a load of retro stuff. In fact, he sent me 14.6 kilograms of stuff from Japan.
I thought they say 14.6 games.
No,
you just got like half a CD.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, so close. Yes. So he sent me all of that, and I had like really great stuff. And then my favourite thing happens to be a cheap rip-off of one of my favourite games of all time. But anyway, that aside, it's still a great game nonetheless. So I mean, I've popped by a couple of your interactive quizzes, and if anyone in chat hasn't actually seen Stuart's quizzes, they are absolutely brilliant.
They nearly work.
Yeah.
I'm trying to cue this whole quiz system in around pictures mostly, so it's what game does this screenshot come from or whatever. But the quiz system isn't actually set up for that, and I have to cue it in manually. Pictures appear at different times depending on what your connection's like and things like that. So it's all a bit shonky, but we have.
Anybody connecting from anywhere with less than a 1 megabyte connection may suffer from terrible experiences, but anyone with a fast internet connection will probably end up winning.
This seems to, if you can get your ping as low as possible, then might help. I don't really know, actually. We just do it, and it happens.
No, but it is thoroughly good, and it's something that I actually enjoy watching quite often. I did try to participate once and realised how bad my gaming memory was, and I was so ashamed of myself. I sat on that bed and cried, and then came back and then looked at the top score, and I was like, "Yep, I am that bad." Yeah.
Good old bed cry. That's a sign of a failed quiz. Bless you.
Yes, indeed.
But you never know if it's a subject. What is your? If you had to go and mastermind and sit in their funny chair, what would be your specialist chosen subject?
Damn, he's thrown this on me. I'm supposed to be interviewing him. Shit. What would my chosen subject be? That is a very good one. I would say like random facts of the world, maybe.
They would not allow that because it's too generic.
Damn. Let me think.
Also, that would be a terrible one to pick because random facts could be literally anything.
Well, I do know some really old stuff, so.
What is Gloria Estefan's favourite toenail polish colour? That's a fact of the world.
Pink. Maybe.
I have no idea.
Well, if anyone in chat knows that one, they can.
If Gloria Estefan is watching, please.
As my brother has put, reading gas meters is not my chosen subject, you bastard. I don't know what my chosen subject would be. That's a very good question. I'd probably say.
What if it had to be about games and gaming? What is your favourite gaming subject?
I know what would be a good one. Is taking the first 5 clips of the intro sequences of games, like the game music, and then being able to name it. I'm usually pretty good at stuff like that.
Oh, that's good. See, that's something I'm very bad at. Recognising music. I'll go, oh, I know this. What's it from? Oh, and that's totally gets me.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty good at stuff like that. So, that would probably be what I'd go with, actually.
What you must do next year around, I think it's around June, me and Did You Know Gaming do the Norwich Gaming Festival gaming quiz. You need to come down to Norwich and take part. There we are. That's an open invitation in the sense that we'd like you to come, but we won't pay for your ticket.
I like what you did there. That is very clever. That is why you are doing successfully well, because you are smarter than I am. Damn you, Stuart Ashen. Yes, I will probably gratefully accept your invitation, and then buy my own.
There's always at least one music round. Probably going to be one music round. I don't know. We haven't decided yet because it's not till June, so it'd be a little bit early to be sorting that out.
So I have half a chance of winning one round. Come on.
Yeah, but it's teams. You can meet up with some other people. The winning team this year hadn't even met quiz. They were just people on their own who just joined together.
So a bit like the X Factor band that was just shoved together with just random people, and we're still shit.
That's true, but this was made organically as opposed to Simon herding with a cattle prod.
You together now. Oh, I just wanted to sing.
Dance for me, dance! Look how inhumanly white my teeth.
Speaking of teeth whitening, I've noticed that there is definitely a competition going on in the English Premier League for the whitest teeth at the moment. So slightly digress.
Is there?
Roberto Firmino and his manager at Liverpool seem to be having a white teeth off at the moment. It's quite. If anyone is a football fan, I suggest you go and look, because I have never seen teeth that white. It literally looks like they've got a brush, dipped it in emulsion, and just like, there we go. I look amazing. I don't know if it helps him on the pitch. I don't know if it helps him do a managerial talk, but
he can just go.
Yes,
and glint another player's eyes.
Just before he takes a penalty, like, oh shit, right. Just slots it away. How did he do it? Colgate. That's how he did it.
And horrifying bleaching chemicals. Yes.
And other toothbrush toothpaste are also available. Covered my arse there. There we go. So we're coming up to the hour, actually, and I haven't asked you anything retro related, which I must do before we go.
Please do.
So, earliest gaming retro or earliest game memory that you can remember in your childhood.
Well, this is a difficult one. My sister says when I was very young, I used to sort of hang off the Pac-Man machines in places and be obsessed with them. I'm too young. I would have been too young for me to actually remember that. It's probably either playing Star Force in the arcade. I can remember I couldn't get very far because I was so young I couldn't deal with the spaceship that came on that you had to shoot more than once. I didn't understand you had to shoot it more than once. Or maybe one of her friends had an Atari 2600. I remember playing on that.
It's a strong shout.
A cousin of mine had a Commodore 64 we had to play on. My uncle gave me his old VIC-20 when he upgraded to a Commodore 64.
Ooh.
That lasted a few months. Then I got a Spectrum for Christmas. Hey, actual games. Yeah, I couldn't say specifically what the one thing is. I've been very impressed by the first time I saw ZX Spectrum. It was running Commando, and
Yes.
somebody had explained Commando to me beforehand, and I thought it was just going to be like little. I honestly imagined little blue stick men on a lighter blue background, like a sort of VIC-20 basic colours.
Sure.
And like I saw this thing, it's like, oh, there's all stuff going on, you know.
It's all kicking off. What's going on here? Oh. Yeah,
My God.
it's
Overload.
It's amazing how I asked that question to a variety of different people, and every answer is completely different. And I guess it's by and they mentioned this actually at Play Expo during one of the panels, which is usually, yeah, they were talking about best computers and stuff like that, and it usually is the one that you've grown up with is usually the most vivid games and memories that stick in your mind. And I think that's quite interesting as a child, that it's always that first thing that you've owned that sat with you is usually the first thing that kind of sticks in your mind. So that's part of the reason why I asked that.
Yeah, it's all very nostalgic retro gaming for obvious reasons.
Indeed. So if there's one thing of retro gaming that you wish could be modernized, what would it be?
Ooh. I would like better systems of getting old consoles out to an HDMI television. Or maybe somebody could start producing high quality cheap CRTs. That would be amazing. So you could play your light gun games again. Although sharing an office with the nostalgia nerd, we've got over 950,000 CRTs in this place, so that's not really a problem. But I think that is the big thing, connecting your old consoles to a modern television. It ain't fun unless you're buying, Frame Meisters or something frightening and expensive like that.
Yeah.
Which the man in the street doesn't really want to be getting involved with.
It's funny you say that, because I think some of the best CRTs that you can get hold of, and I think my brother will probably agree with me on this, is actually some old Bang & Olufsen TVs.
Yeah,
and you can get
absolutely.
You can get some of those for like next to nothing. But part of the issue is he's trying to find a corner where you can have this behemoth that's just going to sit in the corner of the room.
So Peter, a nostalgia nerd, has in his office for his own sort of main use a Bang & Olufsen television he got fairly recently, and he'd just got it, and Quang was here showing him his NES title thing, and it was like, oh, I've seen this, and they plugged into the television. I believe how good the picture was. I'd never actually seen a B&O before. Like, it's just composite going in there, and it looked absolutely amazing, like as sharp as a monitor. I could not believe this television was just so bloody good. That is something I would really like, actually. It's so rare you see them these days because they cost a fortune.
It's funny.
But they're mostly still working.
It's funny you say that, because that TV there is actually a PlayStation 2 TV.
Yes.
And what was interesting is I've never seen a TV with so many inputs in my life. I think it's got, hang on, let me remember. I think it's got like 3 or 4 HDMIs, an aerial composite component. I think it's got like a...
Has it got S-Video?
Yeah, it's got S-Video on it as well.
Yeah.
It's basically, if you think of it, it's probably got it. It's got like a VGA in as well, and it's got so much on it. And I recently got a Spectrum, which I had actually on here, and I had it laid out and stuff, and I thought, well, I'll try it and see what it looks like. Got the aerial, plugged it in, and it all sort of lit up, and I went, oh, that actually looks pretty good. Quite like that, it looks nice. I took a picture and put it on Twitter, and I said, hey, first Spectrum, yay! Someone said, oh, are you running that over HDMI? I was like, no. Aerial.
You're running it. Was it a Spectrum with a composite out, or was it just our?
No, just a straight RF out. So and it looked super crisp, and people were like, hang on a minute, what has this kid's done? He has achieved the marvel of genius. This looks amazing. And then they played Pac-Mania.
They are astonishing. Absolutely astonishing.
And then played Pac-Mania and nearly lost my rag with it. But anyway, that's Pac-Mania. It's perfectly fine.
That's just Pac-Mania.
Yeah, exactly. So that's perfectly fine. So, but yeah, I mean, it's nice to. I think that there has obviously been such a massive resurgence with retro gaming, and it's nice that people like Peter and yourself that obviously still have that added interest in retro, and I think it's nice to try and keep those memories going, and that's part of the thing that I think is quite nice, that some people are trying to take the old and give it a modernised feel, and I don't mean the corporates, but some of the add-ons I've got. I mean, I don't know if I've got it here actually. I may have. Yeah, I do actually. So I bought this little box off. I think it was a gentleman off eBay, if I remember right. It's a tiny little box. That big, and essentially it's for a GameCube, so you go GameCube into there and it gives you a lovely HDMI out, and the picture quality that it changes is absolutely astonishing. So I was streaming Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube, and it looked absolutely breathtaking. And people were like, well, you could play it on the PC. I'm like, well, yeah, I could, but I'd rather play it on the GameCube. And it looked stunning. So it's lovely to see that there's still a passion within the retro community of taking the old and giving it a new flex. But God, do I want to play a light gun game again. Oh,
oh, we've got it set up in the off there for such things. That was one of my first things, right? We had to get one of the CRTs into the game room. Point Blank 2, Point Blank 3, Time Crisis, Virtua Cop 2, absolutely. Vampire Knight, Police 24/7. There's an obscure one. All your favourites.
One of the best ones I ever played was actually on the original Xbox. It was Silent Scope.
Oh yes.
So I've got a funny story with Silent Scope actually. So I bought the game and I had it on the Xbox and I used to play it quite often. And when I went to university, usually after the lectures, there was literally a pub around the corner. So they had a Silent Scope cabinet. And basically what would happen is I would put a pound in, play all the way through the game, and then for anyone who's played it, no spoilers, but then again it's not that interesting, the last level of the arcade game is basically you have a choice. You either basically end the game or you basically bet towards the last shot. And what would happen is there'd be like I think it was like a £5 note that would float through the sky, and you had to take a shot, and if your bullet hit it, you won a load of money out of the machine. So what people would do is they would just toss me £5 coins at me. I would take them all and put them in the machine. I would take the shot and just win all the money back. And I'd be like, right, there you go. Drinks are on me. Off you go, lads. And enjoy. So yeah, it was hilarious because every time we went in, it was just like, Dean, are you feeling all right? I'm like, yes, I haven't had any coffee today, so my hands are going to be steady. So here we go. Crack, right, there you go. The drinks are on me. Have a good night. See you later. But yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic game. I really loved the fact that you kind of had
people forget that the Xbox had a light gun. It was only used in 3 games or something.
So House of the Dead, I think, was on it.
Yeah, House of the Dead 3.
Silent Scope was one.
And Starsky and Hutch.
That's it. Yeah.
Which is such a bizarre one. I've got an Xbox light gun, but not the official one, which is odd because it means there's unauthorized or sort of third-party ones as well.
Indeed. But then again, I mean, the Dreamcast had some weird attachments. I mean, I've got a bloody fishing rod up there, which is...
Oh, yes, the fishing rod. Plug it in to Soul Calibur and you can do bait.
Indeed.
Yep.
Indeed.
Which is amazing.
But yeah, I mean, it was quite interesting that even things like fishing rods were actually made as an attachment. I actually played that on a charity stream and people seem to have enjoyed it, which made me a bit worried. But anyway,
it's a bit different. There's various Xbox 360 light guns, but only for those rubbishy Cabela shoot the animals games, which is such a shame because it means they've obviously got a modern light gun technology. I mean, they released like 2 or 3 of it. There's like a shotgun one and a rifle one, and like, well, can't we have Virtua Cop with that or something? No, just only shoot a bear.
I did see a few different projects actually on the go. I think there was one that was on. I want to say Retro Man Cave's channel. There was a gentleman who invented a piece of tech, and I think it worked on the basis of I think there was a camera mounted to the end of the actual light gun. I probably shouldn't do that movement. A camera mounted to the end of a light gun, and what you did is it was a bit weird. You basically had to get your I'm trying to remember now. I think one end of the light gun went into the console, the other one went into the PC, and what you would do is you would map where the corners of the screen were, and then it would make like sort of like a pseudo 3D view of it, and that was kind of how it would work. So I must go and review that video and actually see how that project is getting along, because it actually looked like a very clever way of it working. But I just want to get to a stage where I can go PlayStation, put in modern TV, click, 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 and we are.
That's what you need. You need the hassle taken up.
Whoever invents that first, you are going to be a multi-millionaire. I said it here.
I've backed one on Kickstarter for a modern light gun, but it was so long ago I can't even plugs into console. It's very unlikely. But oh dear, that's the joy of Kickstarter. Unfortunately, you back something and it doesn't come out for another 43 years. So
Indeed,
you kind of it just turns up with a post one. God, I remember when I cared about this.
I had that the other day because I'd completely forgotten that I'd pre-ordered Shenmue 3, and I just got an email from him going, "Hey, you're going to get this," and I went, "Did I? Oh yeah, I must have. Okay, yep, that was the thing I did. Okay, good. Right, wonderful, good, cool. That happened. Nice.
Sinden light gun. Thank you, Sazzle Do. That is absolutely it. That is the one.
Ah, the Sinden. Ah, interesting. I will have to take a look at that actually. So interesting. What's that? Something just randomly caught my eye. Nerf made one that used the Wiimote to do it on any TV. Really? As in Nerf the phone gun company. Christ.
Was it just a housing for a Wiimote, or did it have some clever thing that let it do other stuff?
I'm quite intrigued by this now. I do like,
because I mean, a Wiimote, you had Ghosts and House of the Dead Overkill and things like that, but it was never quite as accurate as an old style.
I did try and play Mad Dog McCree on the Philips CDI, which I have one here. But unfortunately, yeah, exactly. I did try and play it.
Mad Dog McCree face.
Indeed. Well, there's some brilliant acting in that game if you've not seen it, especially the bartender who just goes, "Oh, watch out, Mad Dog's boys are here."
Yeah.
It's like, all right, mate. Don't be too scared.
Mate, Mad Dog's boys are here. Yeah, all right, you got that. Yeah, cheers, mate. Bye. Bye. See you.
Yeah.
Do I get paid yet?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm only getting paid £4 to say this. So.
God, but it's such a bad game. The thing that always sticks in my mind about bloody Mad Dog McCree is where you're shooting people off the roofs or something, and then it just hard cuts to a bloke standing on a black background right in front of you, just shoots you immediately from close range.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck? What?
In fact, there was one level, I'm trying to remember now, I think there's like a barn in the distance, so there's two guys who come out and basically give you all that, and you're like, yeah, all right, so you shoot them dead. And then there's a shot that comes from the window, but you never see it. You hear it, and there's no sign of it, so you're like, well, where the fuck did that come from? And then it's like, there, that's where it came from, that one pixel of puff, just smoke that you see in the corner.
That's your 10p is gone. We need another one now.
Damn. In fact, there was actually a worse game made. I cannot remember the name of it, but it was basically like a sort of more modernised drug cartel version, and I've actually got it here, and it is bloody... Like, as acting goes, it is the worst I've ever seen in anything.
I can't remember the name of it. I know the one. It's awful.
Yeah.
In
fact,
absolutely awful.
It starts with like some drug cartel guy going, "Hey, you know me? I got the drugs, I got the women, I got." It's like, all right, mate. Yeah, I get the point. Like, I get what you're getting at. And then it cuts to some like really overweight police officer who's like, "Hey, we need to stop this guy." And I'm like, "You're the guy? Are you really? I'm going to work with you to stop this guy." Like, okay, all right, good.
Every game needs to start with Poundland Scarface. It's amazing.
Poundland Scarface. The only reason that's funny is that people refer to me as a Poundland Pharaoh because I once wore a Pharaoh's hat during a charity stream and then danced to Walk Like an Egyptian. But anyway, that's for another day. Yeah, that's
Gaming Muso did send me a message say you were a. Hang on, was it?
Oh,
I can't actually remember now.
Go.
Yeah, it's one of those. Jamiroquai tribute.
Thanks, James. Love you, mate.
I can't remember what the JK from Jamiroquai looked like. All I remember is he had a big hat.
Yeah, that's essentially what he was referring to. So, unfortunately, the gentleman I mentioned earlier, which is Neil from the Retro Man Cave, gave me one of the worst burns I've ever had, period, who basically sat very quietly on a podcast, which basically spawned everything that we're doing right here now, and then basically just said, you actually look like a bit like a crap version of JK. So, yeah, it kind of spawned from that. So, and that
was kind of him.
Yeah, and that coming from Neil is something that still gets me. But we squashed the beef at Blackpool, so that's.
Did you kill him?
I didn't kill him, but the Norbreck nearly did because I'm still trying to get over this cough.
You can't kick a man when he's down,
but the Norbreck can. That's for sure. For anyone who hasn't been to the Norbreck in the north of England, make sure you have your tetanus jabs and any other jabs before you go, because if the hotel doesn't kill you, something else will. As Stuart can vouch for, it is a uniquely different building.
I've never been in a hotel room before and been awake at 3 a.m. due to how cold it was and seeing ice creeping across the mirror in the room. What a place the Norbreck is.
Well, I tell you what, if you ever do a horror film, Stuart, perfect start scene.
God, the real horror would be the production having to be there. I don't think the insurance would cover it. Like, what are you doing? Eating a load of lava whilst you fall into an active volcano and injecting rabies directly into your eyeballs. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we can do that. Oh, in the Norbreck? My God, no, cancel it.
To be fair, it would probably actually improve it, to be fair.
The application of lava to the Norbreck.
I think my favourite thing was... well, it's two favourite things, actually. Was walking up to the Norbreck and then looking at the sign, noticing that there was significantly less letters on the sign than what I saw in the photos. So I knew that... I thought maybe there was like a rite of passage that every Halloween someone had to climb up and take a letter off, you know. So
eventually it'll just say, the Neck Hotel.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That was point one. And then the fact that I was mocking the place so much that people said, well, you haven't seen your hotel yet. And I kind of gulped and went... crap, that's the problem. Then I thought, surely there can't be anything worse than this, and it wasn't, so I was pleasantly surprised. But the fact that Neil from the Retro Man Cave stayed in the penthouse in the Norbreck still baffles my mind. Exactly, your reaction there is precisely what I did, and I nearly dropped my drink.
Their idea of a penthouse is something on the top floor where the window closes.
And no stains on the wall, or at least one. Only one stain on the wall.
Yeah, only one stain, and within stain parameters, it's not too big. Apparently, half of it has been like redone and the livable, and then there's the old half, which is what me and Peter were supposed to stay in. Well, I did stay in. He managed to escape.
Yeah, I did. I did see that video. After watching it, I did feel like giving Peter a good cuddle. I must say, I did take myself into a bit of a rabbit hole where. What's the website called? Is it Wayback Machine? When you can type,
Internet Archive.
Yeah, that is an interesting one if you have never done that before. But basically a lot of the old companies I used to work for, we had an instant where we needed to sort of look at something in the past, and I went, I've got a brilliant idea. Let's use this website, and they were like, oh my God, is this our website like 10 years ago? I'm like, yeah, great, isn't it? Like, look at all the flash everywhere.
Yes, Starfield background.
Random music
under construction gifs.
Yes, indeed. Oh, GeoCities.
Don't forget to sign our guest book.
Yes,
before you join our web.
Do you know what? I never understood the point of guest books. I really never did. Did anyone ever read or write them?
I suppose it was a comments field before comments fields, wasn't it?
Maybe.
And where I can think of it, but yeah, it was like a comments field nobody read.
Yeah.
So again, like a comments field. Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. GeoCities was always close to my heart. It was kind of my first touch point of web, as it were. But then I suddenly realised that most of the stuff on GeoCities was shit. It was.
So GeoCities closed down 10 years ago. Then they back, and then it closed down again this year.
Really?
So it seems like every 10 years, GeoCities manages to. It's amazing.
As they're all sitting there at like a Christmas party, going, remember those days with GeoCities? Wouldn't it be good to bring it back again? And like they're all drunk and stuff, and they're like, yeah, do you know it'd be a great idea? And then as soon as they did it, they're like, shit, how much money have we spent?
Oh God,
on this?
what have we done?
Like,
knew we should have brought back Angel 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow,
I'm going to complain about this in my dead.
Indeed. Right. Anyway, I think that's enough rambling for one evening. I will probably have to I need to get the Gaming Muso on the podcast anyway at some point. So I think he may even be the next guest. We will see. But anyway, so I'm probably going to wrap this up. So what I normally do is hand the virtual mic back again to Stuart. Thank you very much. You dropped it. Best thing to do is to go through and explain anything you're currently working on, anything new and exciting. Over to you. Let the people know what you're up to.
Certainly. Yep, our new film isn't out yet, so I won't bother mentioning that. I've written 2 books on very bad old video games, terrible old games you've probably never heard of, and Attack of the Flickering Skeletons. Both of them available through your local friendly Amazon, probably. But yeah, if you like very old games, very obscure games, and very bad games, that is where they meet on the Venn diagram. And if you to see all the YouTube stuff, all you got to do is put Ashens into Google. Just one word, like Madonna, only nowhere near as good.
And no pointy areas on Stuart, as far as I'm aware. So I have met him. So
not that I show on camera.
No, not that we're aware of. But no, it's apparently people want a book of tat, which I think is a brilliant idea.
A book of tat. It could be done. It could be done. We're kind of doing that, actually. The next book we're working on, I'm some on old action fizz, so it'll actually be quite.
That would be quite good. In fact, I've still got some old He-Man toys somewhere.
Oh, there was some classic He-Man toys. And by classic, I mean weird. Things like Mosquito, which had like blood in his chest and would apparently drink the other character's blood. My personal favourite, well, it's going to be two favourites. There's so many He-Man ones. Dragstore, who was literally a dragster. He just had like a big wheel in his chest and record you. And Snout Spout, who was an Eternian fireman who had a horrible accident. They replaced his entire head with a big robot elephant head, and the figure squirted water from its trunk. Yeah, He-Man, so good.
Well, so that must have been an interesting marketing meeting when they came up with those ideas.
Yeah,
wow.
I think they just went down the pub and drunk.
Actually, before we go, I have to ask this: do you venture into the same Poundland every time you go to pick up some tat?
Not really. There's a lot of pound storage. You've got 2, 3, 4 good-sized ones. So I tend to just go to the nearest Poundland where I am. Really. Yes. There is one of the pounds I never do need to have a look at, actually, because there are Halloween masks people have been finding in Poundland that are literally just a piece of cardboard face on, and one of them is just a cat's face and one is just a baby's face. Like, this is amazing. They haven't turned up in any of our Poundlands. It's like, no, I want the shit baby one, please.
Yeah, we don't want good stuff or vaguely good stuff. We want the bad stuff.
Yeah.
What was quite awkward is I've just seen a random face pop
yes,
which scared the shit out of me because I just looked over my shoulder and saw that.
A very old French singer is hassling.
Indeed. Yeah, because I don't know. The only reason I asked that is it came to my mind that you could have the same person sitting there and they're like, oh, bloody Stuart Ashen is coming in. They're doing another sodding review of our shit. You know, they're kind of walking behind you, going, he's picked up the. He's picked up that weird zombie puppet thing. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
I think I'm all right in Poundland because their footfall is so absolutely tremendous. They get thousands of people like every 3 minutes. So you could just walk there and be absolutely fine.
He just blends into it with everyone else.
The only time I can remember being recognised in a Poundland was the lady on the till who recognised me and the fake transfer and told me all the fake. That was extremely useful. That was Poundland above and beyond the Call of Duty. Amazing.
I like that. That is good. I do remember once they had a 50% sale, and I remember standing at the counter into which someone went, "Do you know how much this is?" And I just wanted to cry because the response was, "It's 50p," and I was like, "Oh, well, this is going to be a long day, isn't it?"
That was some maths, blimey. Yeah, well.
Good God, she's a genius! Somebody stop him! Stop him! They're far too intelligent to work here. Go out and be a scientist or something. Could do some quantum physics. Goddamn, you're far too intelligent for this. Right. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up as we've rambled on long enough about tat and random things. But I will thank you again, Stuart, for giving me your precious time. It has been an absolute pleasure, and I think everybody who has joined today has thoroughly enjoyed this as well as I have. So it has been an absolute pleasure.
Well, thank you for inviting us on. Very kind of you.
No problems at all. And yeah, if you see Peter, make sure that he keeps his Atari Falcon under wraps because I know someone. Someone is kind of after that at the moment, so we may need to put in some extra security.
Man, he's got a security system on that Falcon that makes Mission Impossible look positively Edwardian.
There we go. You heard it here first. So for everyone who has been in chat. Sorry, Gaming Muso's just said, "God damn him, it will be mine." Very good, James. Now I feel like, there's the next film for you to do. It is the breaking into the Nostalgia Nerds room and taking the Falcon. That would be amazing to witness. But anyway, we digress. And yes, if you do want to follow any of Stuart's wonderful work, there have been links that have been put into chat. And if you're watching this on demand, there are links in the description. And if you're watching this on YouTube, it will be in the comment section below. I will pin the tweet so that you can see it. But yes, thank you very much to Stuart. I stay on the line and we will briefly talk once we go off the air. And to everyone else who has watched this live, thank you very much. And to everyone else who's watched this on demand, a big thank you from me. MeanMachineDean signing out. Have a pleasant evening. And from me and from Stuart, take care.
Bye. Bye.
Hang on a minute, I need to play the jingle.
Bye. Hello.